Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of BTTH the Flame Emperor episode number 145 based on novel. So let's start. Fenchen, are you crazy? Hua Xin came directly in front of Fenchen and asked in a questioning tone. As I said, I'm here to atone for my sins this time. Before you forgive me, if you want to kill you, you have to kill you. Although Fen Tian was shocked by Hua Xin's attack, he spat out a mouthful of blood, but after all, Fen Tian possessed even if the power of Dozian is not used, the body tempered by Dozian's power is not comparable to ordinary people. Otherwise this Fen Tian would have fallen under the attack of Hua Xin with hatred. Fen Tian was left speechless by such a sudden scene. There are too many people here, let's change the place. Hua Xin looked around, and suddenly found that there were many people gathered here, and immediately opened her mouth slightly. Let's go. Before Fen Tian and the sect master of Poison Sect agreed, Hua Xinyu waved his hand, and a fierce energy appeared, and the three figures disappeared without a trace. It can be considered that nothing major happened. Hua Yun said slightly after seeing the three of them leave. She knew that the pavilion master was soft-hearted. If this goes on, it is not impossible to forgive Fen Tian. Cough cough cough. Look at what? Go back to practice soon. Look at your own vindictiveness. Have you seen the power of the pavilion master just now? That's the goal of your study. With the disappearance of the words and the others, Hua Yun Zaidu resumed his stern tone and showed his humanity to the onlookers. Seeing that the pavilion master had spoken, the others could only disperse, but they gained a new understanding of their own pavilion master's strength. That is the fighting immortal powerhouse. The three of Hua Xin disappeared, and they didn't know where they went, but the misunderstanding among the three may not be explained overnight. Inside the Xianling Royal Palace. That's the sect master of the Poison Sect. In the splendid palace within the Xianling royal family, King Xianling was sitting slowly on the dragon chair at this time, and he was reviewing some state affairs that came up below. It is believed that many of the powerhouses in the Shentian 3 days are extremely sensitive, and it is extremely easy to recognize the purple poisonous aura of the sect master of the Poison Sect. This guy is so fast. What is this for? That direction. Wanhua Pavilion? Xianling King said, and immediately put down the document in his hand and walked directly to the window, staring at the traces of vindictiveness left by the sect master of Poison Sect. It seems that this Poison Sect and Wanhua Pavilion are also somewhat tricky. After some fruitless thinking, King Xianling returned to his position. He originally wanted to continue his review, but was awakened by a familiar voice. My king is really in a hurry. It was Wenzi, the current national teacher of the Xianling royal family, who spoke out. Wenzi held the jade fan, swayed slightly, and smiled. When Guosha is here, sit anywhere. King Xianling smiled slightly, and Wenzi, don't be too polite, after all, the two have a deadly friendship. Things are already settled. Wenzi glanced around slightly, and then said, Oh. When Xianling King heard the words, he was slightly pleasantly surprised. But if my king wants to successfully complete this matter, he still needs some trade-offs. Wenzi said involuntarily when he saw this. Any choice? I've had enough choices. King Xianling immediately became unhappy when he heard this. For that purpose, I put so much effort and sweat back and forth, but in the end I got nothing. My king, we've reached this point, and we can't fall short. Wenzi naturally knew how much King Xianling had paid for that purpose over the years. Even Medusa's party, which had just ended recently, had already been impeached by many high-level officials of the Xianling royal family, and the power in the hands of the Xianling king was becoming less and less. Damn. It's too early to do. King Xianling heard the words, and there was a trace of resentment in his eyes, and then he slowly stared at Wenzi. My king, you must know that although your father has abdicated to become a virtuous person for many years, he has been guarding the 7th floor of the underground palace. Presumably, my king should know better than me what his purpose is. I just went down and got to know him a few days ago. He doesn't seem to be satisfied with our king, and there is still a trace of resentment in his words. Wenzi said slightly. After so many years, he still holds a grudge against me because of my brother and sister. King Xianling heard the words, and a trace of pain could not help but be born in his heart. If this is the case, I am afraid that even if my king gets Medusa's blood, I am afraid that he will not be able to swallow the holy flame. Wenzi's eyes said. I know about this. King Xianling was slightly angry. Everything was in his expectations, but he didn't expect a Medusa queen to kill halfway, which made King Xuanling's plan fall short. Originally, King Xuanling's father was slightly different towards King Xianling, but now that something happened, Sheng Yang naturally wouldn't give it easily. Although my father's strength is also a fighting immortal, it has already been blown away by the wind, and it is impossible to swallow the holy flame. Otherwise, if you are not careful, you will fall directly. But it's strange, apart from me, it's impossible for anyone else to have the power and ambition to devour the holy flame. What is he doing? Could it be that he is playing the power that was once sealed by Medusa's petrified pupil? The next moment, King Xianling suddenly thought of something and spoke slightly. The Xianling royal family actually has two powerful immortals. One is the father of the current King Xianling, and the other is the previous King Xianling. It's just that the previous King Xianling, for some unknown reason, was sealed by the petrifying pain of the Medusa family. I'm afraid that my father is thinking of this. After all, it is the real power of fighting immortals, which is undoubtedly more attractive than Sheng Yang. What should I do next? Immediately, there was a hint of concern in King Xuanling's voice. The current self, but there is no bargaining chip to lose, so every step, you must be prepared. If you lose, I am afraid that you will have nothing. My king, it's better to be like this. After Wenzi finished speaking, he whispered something next to King Xianling. It's so good. King Xianling was overjoyed when he heard the words. If it was really like Wenzi, I'm afraid that Sheng Yang and the petrified fighting immortal power were his own. At that time, let alone a small Xianling royal family, even the entire Xian 3 days will be his own. Wenzi, take a break for me these few days, I have to go out urgently. King Xianling said slightly. Yes, my king. Wenzi heard the words, and naturally knew the wishful thinking in King Xuanling's heart, but Wenzi did not break it. After all, the two at this time were already regarded as grasshoppers on the same rope. The real good show is about to start now. Don't you think that after my return from the Medusa family, my strength has been greatly reduced, and I won't be able to live for long? Then let you fight. The position of the Xianling king of the Xianling royal family is not so easy to sit on. Ha ha ha. After speaking, King Xuanling's weird laughter appeared in the entire splendid hall. Tick-tock. There is a small river far away from the Xianling royal family. On the edge of the river, a fisherman is slowly lifting the fish tank to fish. His eyes are slightly confused, and he is obviously sleepy. It's just a spooky place in the river where a pool of water is slowly dripping from top to bottom, and there is a sense of rhythm when it drips. It was a wrong decision to send a few of them to hunt Zhu Jin. The old guy Zhu Jin also broke through the half-immortal. With the addition of that Shentian first battle formation master, I'm afraid it will be quite difficult even for me to deal with. But it's a bit strange. Even if it fails, why didn't those 3 guys come back? Is something wrong? The old fisherman said to himself. Tick-tock. The water drops were dripping, and the old fisherman immediately cast his gaze and shouted loudly. Who? Come out. The old fisher shouted loudly, and a figure suddenly appeared in the place where the water droplets fell in the small river. The figure was wrapped in black robes, and he couldn't see any appearance, but that's the case. The terrifying power that vaguely exudes is probably not something that ordinary people can possess. Sect Master Solomon, when I saw him today, it really lived up to its reputation. The figure in black robe just appeared, and suddenly laughed. This man has a very strange aura flashing all over his body, very eerie. Humph. You still have the face to come back. The old man fishing was a little unhappy when he saw this man. Haha, what happened to you Solomon has nothing to do with our soul clan. If it wasn't for your 3 subordinates fighting for fame and fortune, I'm afraid it wouldn't have ended like this. The man covered in jet black robes sneered. He naturally knew why the old man was so angry. Before sending 3 of their Solomon clan masters to encircle Zhu Jin, not only did they fail, but they went in with them, which would be uncomfortable for anyone else. Humph. What else are you doing here? The fishing old man heard that, although he was extremely unhappy, he calmed down. Isn't the purpose of my visit obvious? The black-robed man said immediately when he saw that the fishing old man was deliberately pretending to be crazy. Let's just say it directly. Although the fishing old man had some vague guesses in his heart, he naturally didn't want to betray him. I am the general person in charge of the Soul Clan at Xian Santian's side. The black-robed man explained slightly. Chief in charge? Aren't you afraid that I'll kill you when you come here? After all, what your Soul Clan did to us Solomon behind the scenes, no one knows better than me. The old fishing man said in disapproval, with a trace of anger in his voice. The old fisherman is now Lord Solomon, also the strongest. Solomon had a total of 12 sect masters, of which he was the first sect master. There were indeed some misunderstandings in the previous grievances. However, I believe that you also understand people. As long as there are enough interests, there is no deal that cannot be made. Facing this old fox, the man in black robe was not in a hurry, because he knew that the Solomon sect master was not a vegetarian. If it weren't for the fact that he had some credentials on his body, I am afraid that today, he would not dare to appear in front of him. After all, this guy's strength has reached the level of a half-immortal, and his own strength is only at the peak level of Do-D. Oh, enough profit. Lord Solomon's eyelids jumped when he heard this. At his level, ordinary money and treasures have long been out of his sight. Let me tell you something, but I believe you will know soon. The black-robed man smiled slightly, very mysterious. Then what do you need us to do with Solomon? The old fisherman said slightly. It's very simple. Don't interfere in this relic and the sect competition. The Soul Clan powerhouse said unhurriedly. Impossible. The fishing old man heard the words and refused directly. What a joke, this ruin contains extremely precious treasures, and the first place in the sect competition, the things that can be obtained are also extraordinary. How can you say that you will not participate if you don't participate? You can think about it. Our Soul Clan has always cooperated with the ghost world since ancient times. This is something that you Solomon cannot compare to you, although I don't know why your Solomon has some connection with the ghost world. But I still advise you not to participate. After all, this time, we have a big move with the ghost world. As for the remuneration afterwards, I will definitely give it myself. The Soul Race powerhouse said slowly. Haha, it seems that the days of Shentian are going to change. The old fishing man said to himself. But the next moment, Sect Master Solomon thought in his heart, the headquarters of these guys from the Soul Race is not on our Shenling continent. What are they going to do? The trading connection between the Soul Clan and the ghost world is stronger than I thought. Your strength is only at the peak of Do-D. If you want to make me obey, it would be too ridiculous. The old fisher slowly put away his fishing gear, then got up slightly, and walked slowly towards the strong Soul Clan. Damn it! Seeing this, the strong Soul Clan was slightly startled. My strength is only at the peak of Do-D. If this guy does it, I am afraid that some life-saving things in his hands can. Forget it, I'm free to do these things, you can go back. I will consider what you said. The fishing old man didn't do anything to the Soul Race powerhouse, thought about it for a while, but went to their Solomon's sect. Although Solomon acts in a low-key manner, as the strongest Solomon, he naturally knows what kind of huge energy is contained in the word Soul Clan. This old guy. I don't know who has contact with the ghost world, but I can actually get the support of some forces in the ghost world. In the human world, the forces that cooperate with the ghost world only have our Soul Clan, and the rest are just a flash in the pan. What the is going on with Solomon? Forget it, as long as it doesn't affect our Soul Clan's plan, let it go. If we lose our Soul Clan's plan, I'm afraid no one in the ghost world will dare to protect you. After finishing speaking, the Soul Clan powerhouse slowly disappeared. The old guy who dug the grave told me a long time ago that this time they are going to attack Shentian-san. I'm afraid there will be a new situation in this Shentian, and the sect of Shentian will be cleaned up. However, the three ghost immortals in the ghost world attacked Shen Santian at the same time. In addition to the constant conspiracy of the Shenling royal family, I am afraid that this time, Shen Santian will change. After the Solomon sect master finished speaking, he disappeared directly. Immediately, the conversation between Soul Race and Solomon ended like this, but the ghost world was also full of impetuous thoughts. Zai returned to the Burning Incense Pavilion. In the Burning Incense Pavilion, the Earth Team and the Human Hall 2 detachment, which had entered the Tongtian River to cultivate the cave, had all left Tongtianhe except for Xiao Yang. After all, although Tongtianhe is good, the terrifying suppression in it is not easy to bear. This trip to Tongtianhe, it can be said that most people have benefited a lot. First of all, Mu Feng and LVDI, the two of them broke through the 6-star Do-D, and the vitality in their bodies has reached the 7th rank. I am afraid that few people in the entire Burning Incense Pavilion have achieved it. And the strength of several others has also made great progress. Among them, the second apprentice brother of the Earth Hall, Zhu Yuan, had already reached the level of a half-step 7-star Do Emperor before entering, and now, after coming out, he has completely set foot on the 7-star Do Emperor. The third senior brother Zhong Wuming of the Earth Hall, the 6-star Do Emperor was consummated, and he will still be the 6-star Do Emperor consummation after he came out. After all, the threshold of the 7-star Do Emperor is not so easy to touch. Although he knows it himself, he is more or less in his heart. Care. The fourth senior brother of the Didian, Xingyu, and the late 6-star Do Emperor, have now broken through to the level of the 6-star Do Emperor's perfection. As for the 5th senior brother, Wang Chen, his strength has also broken through the late 6-star Do Emperor's level, and Ling Xuan's strength has also broken through to the level of the late 6-star Do Emperor. Late 6-star Do D. Qin Xin's strength has reached the late 6-star Do Emperor. After all, she is the disciple of Qing Laro, the deputy head of the Tiandian Temple. As for Mu Yingying's strength, she has also risen to the late 6-star Do Emperor. This is 3 levels in a row. When he came out, he shocked a lot of people, but fortunately he had holy flame on his body, and with the protection of Mu Shuzi, no one said much. It's been more than a month, why hasn't Xiao Yang come out yet? In the ground hall, there is a different courtyard. This is the place where the brothers and sisters usually talk and rest. At this time, many disciples have gathered here, among them several of them are the senior brothers in the Hall of Earth. It was Wang Chen who spoke up. It's been a month. I remember that since the establishment of our Funxiang Pavilion, there have been many people who have entered the Tongtianhe 9th level cultivation cave, but the highest one has only stayed for 20 days. This Xiao Yang has now it's been 30 days, and there's still no movement, so what's going on? Xingyu on the side opened his mouth slightly, with a little extreme in his voice. Obviously he didn't hold much hope for Xiao Yang. Probably not. He must have his confidence when he entered the 9th level cultivation cave. Hearing this, Ling Xuan's beautiful big eyes flickered slightly. If it is as Xingyu said, obviously it is impossible. When Ling Xian entered Luoling Mountain, she teamed up with Xiao Yang. As for Xiao Yang, she didn't know what the purpose was, but Ling Xian always knew that this guy was no match for him. And the reason why this guy chose to enter the strongest 9th level cultivation cave must be confident. Okay, don't guess, everyone, let's go back to practice, and the ruins will be opened soon. This is the last trial in the sect competition. Ling Xian said with a smile. Ling Xian had just finished speaking, and the rest of Wang Chen and Xingyu had a fiery look in their eyes. 5 months left. The ruins will appear. There were already all kinds of legends in the ruins, which made everyone look forward to it. I hope that kid is alright. After coming out of Tongtianhe, my strength has improved to a higher level, and I want to compete with him. After Wang Chen finished speaking, he slowly left here. 5 bamboo residences. It's been a month. Xiao Yang hasn't come out yet, so there must be something wrong, right? Mu Feng said slightly, very worried about Xiao Yang. He and Green Flute entered the Tongtian River. If it wasn't for the thing Xiao Yang gave, it would obviously be extremely difficult to break through the 6-star Do D. He should be fine, I can feel his strength is slowly increasing. Mu Yingying on the side hesitated. Hope. Green Flute also prayed for the first. After a short conversation, they returned to their own residence to practice. After all, their strength has just improved, and they are still familiar with it. This little guy is not easy. It's been a month, and there's still no news. A slightly shocked voice sounded slowly, and the speaker was Mu Shuzi. As Xiao Yang, as the strongest person in the hall of Funxiang Pavilion, Mu Shuzi naturally needs to take more care of him. This Xiao Yang, isn't anything going to happen? Xiong Yuan, who was beside him, was also a little worried. How? It's just that there are some enchanting level disciples in your hall, and our hall can't do it. Mu Shuzi suddenly looked at Xiong Yuan coldly when he heard the words. Hihi, Mu Shuzi, what kind of flower are you? After so many years of friendship, I will still be jealous of your failure to become a human palace. If there is a real Evildor level disciple in your human palace, I will be too happy. Xiong Yuan said immediately after seeing Mu Shuzi's complexion change. And you should also know that all the training caves from Tongtianhe level 1 to 9 are open. Why does Zhu Yuan, who is as powerful as the half-step 7-star Do D, only dare to choose the 8th level cultivation cave? Xiong Yuan poured a pot to the happy Mu Shuzi. Cold water poured down. Shouldn't be. Mu Yingying's girl just came out of the 9th level cultivation cave, how could it be? Listening to his good brother for many years, Mu Zuzia realized that something was wrong. Mu Yingying. That guy has the power of holy flames, although I don't know very well, but I think that her surge of strength this time has 3 levels in a row. I am afraid it has something to do with the holy flames in her body, otherwise I will, but I have never heard that Tongtianhe can break through 3 levels. Xiong Yuan gave Mu Shuzi a slow analysis. Although there are extremely powerful treasures in the 9th level cultivation cave, I believe that no one knows better than you, right? Xiong Yuan said. When Mu Shuzi heard this, his eyes suddenly turned black. Tongtianhe cultivated in the 9th level cave, and Mu Shuzi went in once when he was young. At that time, Mu Shuzi's strength had reached the real 7-star Do Emperor, but he was still relieved by the terrifying pressure in the 9th level cultivation cave. The 9th level cultivation cave is extremely mysterious, and there is no pressure just entering it, but the closer you get to the treasure, the greater the pressure. According to Mu Shuzi's estimation, I am afraid that it has the level of an 8-star Do Emperor. I hope that guy is creating a miracle. After all, he was the number one who killed the twin ghost emperors at the beginning. Now, the time spent in the 9th level cultivation hole has surpassed countless generations of Fengxiang disciples. Xiao Yang, don't let us down. After Mu Shuzi finished speaking, his eyes slowly became hot. I also think this kid doesn't seem to be that simple. For some unknown reason, Xiong Yuan also had an inexplicable expectation for Xiao Yang. In the Tongtian River. At the lowest end of the Tongtian River, here a man with a heavy ruler on his back sat slowly, standing still like a statue. I don't know how long it took, the figure slowly moved. After a while, the man's body suddenly burst out with dazzling fighting chi like ripples, centered on it. It's almost there. Feeling the changes on his body, Xiao Yang's mouth moved slightly, and he said. This figure was clearly Xiao Yang. Since Xiao Yang entered the top of Tongtian River a month ago, he has absorbed the purest power in Tongtian River here. I didn't expect the power in this Tongtian River to be so huge. Even if I had the Holy Flame and Fen Ju methods in my body, it would take a full month. Xiao Yang said with a slight smile on the corner of his mouth. Next, it's time to harvest. The next moment, Xiao Yang's eyes shrank suddenly, and then a group of dazzling power in his body suddenly spread out, and huge ripples of power continued to spread out. Boom boom boom. The huge power was originally refined by Xiao Yang, but at this moment, Xiao Yang absorbed the refined power into his body. With the injection of a trace of strength, Xiao Yang could clearly feel that all the limbs and bones in his body were constantly being filled. That kind of power is probably not something that the 6-star Do Emperor can possess in the later stage. Is this the perfect strength of the 6-star Do D? Sure enough, it's not the same as the late 6-star Do D. Just as he opened his eyes, he moved his hand bones, and suddenly there was a strong force. This power is completely different from the power of Xiao Yang in the late stage of the 6-star Do D. If I were to meet the original Wang Chen now, I'm afraid it wouldn't be difficult to kill him with a single blow. The corner of Xiao Yang's mouth moved, and he was quite happy. In fact, Xiao Yang himself did not expect that the mysterious suppression in this Tongtian River would actually turn into nothingness under the attack of his own soul. Otherwise, Xiao Yang would have to spend a lot of time trying to obtain the power to break through the late stage of the 6-star Do Emperor. It's almost there, it's time to go. Standing up slightly, Xiao Yang glanced at this place and said immediately. However, when Xiao Yang glanced over here, he was suddenly shocked. If the previous Tongtian River was the Tongtian River, then the current Tongtian River is the real Tianhe. With Xiao Yang's gaze, he saw that in the golden river extending toward the sky, there was only gold in colorless transparency. But above the zenith at the end of the golden river, there seems to be something. What is that? Xiao Yang is an alchemist after all, and his soul perception ability is not comparable to that of ordinary people, so he naturally discovered this scene that is difficult for ordinary people to discover. It was a green mysterious object. There was an indescribable terrifying aura all over his body, even Xiao Yang couldn't see what was inside. However, this is the case, Xiao Yang is also sure that the thing is definitely not ordinary. Forget it, let's go. Xiao Yang didn't know what it was, but out of intuition, Xiao Yang knew that it must be extremely dangerous, so he left immediately. Outside the burning incense pavilion, the pot has already exploded. Damn, does this Xiao Yang want to be so arrogant? It is said that there are countless mysteries in the Tongtian River, and at least the Tongtian River can help people improve their strength. How did Xiao Yang go in for 50 days and still not come out? Do not know. Could it be that he couldn't bear the pressure of the 9th level cultivation cave and fell inside? I don't think so. The top sect members are not moving. Let's wait and see the show. Some disciples in the Funxiang pavilion kept discussing in a low voice. What is Xiao Yang doing inside? Although the pressure of cultivating Dongtian at the 9th level is strong, it is impossible for him to have an accident. It's been 2 months. I broke our first place in the burning incense pavilion. Xiong Yuan was quite puzzled by what Xiao Yang was doing, and immediately said, Hehe, don't worry, I always feel that this kid is planning something. Mu Shuzi was really worried at first, but now he has calmed down. After all, after careful consideration, Xiao Yang's strength and temperament are beyond doubt. What do you mean? Xiong Yuan heard the words and looked up at Mu Shuzi, as if this time, Mu Shuzi knew something. You forgot the thing in the 9th level cultivation cave? Mu Shuzi smiled slowly. That thing? That's not necessarily available to the 8-star Do Di Strong. Xiong Yuan was extremely surprised when he heard this. As for what is in the Tongtian River from the 1st to the 9th level, they, the Deputy Hall Masters, are not very clear. That's just for us, Xiao Yang is different. Mu Shuzi pretended to be mysterious. And I guess it will be soon, he will come out in a few days. At that time, I'm afraid the best guys in your dungeon will not be afraid. Mu Shuzi said with a smile. Mu Shuzi, make it clear, what's going on? Xiong Yuan heard the words and immediately chased Mu Shuzi away. As Mu Shuzi walked, he said, go back and inform the people in the Earth Palace that the time to enter the Doji Pavilion is waiting. After speaking, Mu Shuzi immediately disappeared. This Xiao Yang is really a freak, the 9th level cultivation cave is. Xiong Yuan felt terrible when he thought about it. What? Do you want to postpone the time to enter the Doji Pavilion again? Zhu Yuan sat in a study in the underground hall, holding a book in his palm, and said in surprise. Second senior brother, it's not my fault. It's all the meaning of the Deputy Hall Master. Wang Chen came over and told his second senior brother just after he got the news. After all, the second senior brother is a real 7-star fighting emperor, and he has just broken through, and it is extremely necessary to have powerful fighting skills. Right in front of you, what is the reason? Zhu Yuanneng, as the second senior brother, naturally has his excellence, and after a breath, Zhu Yuan regained his calm and spoke slightly. According to rumors, it was because of Xiao Yang of the Human Palace. 50 days have passed, but Xiao Yang, who has entered the 9th level cultivation cave, has not shown any signs of coming out, so the time to advance to the Doji Pavilion should be to wait for Xiao Yang. Wang Chen muttered to himself. Road. 50 days into the 9th level cultivation cave? Zhu Yuan frowned upon hearing this. To be able to persist in the 9th level cultivation for 50 days is already considered to be extremely outstanding, and it can even be described as an avile door. Zhu Yuan had entered the 9th level cultivation cave, and he was only stunned and forced to quit. After all, the pressure inside was not comparable to the 8th level. It seems that the Hall of Humanity is about to turn over. After thinking for a while, Zhu Yuan stared into the distance and spoke slowly. Second senior brother, you mean? When Wang Chen heard this, he seemed to have thought of something. Wang Chen, keep an eye on Tongtianhe. As soon as Xiao Yang comes out, let me know immediately. If it's really strong, I'm afraid you can do that for me too. After Zhu Yuan finished speaking, a tinge of heat flashed in his heart. That incident has troubled me for too long. Yes, second senior brother. Wang Chen agreed and went down immediately. Although he didn't know what these second senior brothers wanted to do, Wang Chen knew that everything these second senior brothers did was for the sec. In the early morning, when the sun scatters, it heralds the beginning of a new day in the burning incense pavilion. Hey, why are you so lazy? Now everyone is cultivating desperately. As a member of our Funxiang Pavilion disciples, how can you be lazy here alone? On the forest path, a man with a heavy ruler on his back walked lazily, but was caught. A young girl behind her pointed and said, Xiao Yang just came out of Tongtian River, but what makes Xiao Yang strange is that when he came out, he did not come out from the place he had entered. It seems to be caused by the mysterious power in that Tongtian River. Me? Xiao Yang pointed at himself with his finger, and then stared at the young girl in front of him. The girl in front of her seemed to be no more than 17 or 18 years old. She was the age of Qingji. She was very good at sports. The places that should be convex were convex, and the places that should be concave were concave, which made people look extremely pure. What are you looking at? It's just you. The girl saw Xiao Yang's breathing fooling herself. With her hands on her waist, she walked over angrily. Why am I being lazy? Xiao Yang was confused. He just came out of Tongtian River, and he didn't know where he was, but the only thing Xiao Yang knew was that he was still in the burning incense pavilion, but he didn't know exactly where. It's you. The ruins are just around the corner, and the sect competition is imminent. As a member of the burning incense pavilion, you are not going to practice, but hanging out here, don't you want to be lazy? The girl came to Xiao Yang and said sternly. However, in front of Xiao Yang, the girl felt a burning sensation. It's early in the morning, and the sun hasn't fully unfolded yet. Logically, it shouldn't be so hot. What's going on? But the girl didn't say it, she just thought in her heart. Xiao Yang's head was full of black lines. Where is this place, please? I seem to have lost my way. Xiao Yang said slowly after a slight murmur. What? The girl heard the words, her eyes filled with an incredible look. Who are you? This is the burning incense pavilion. The next moment, the girl said vigilantly, I am the disciple in the Funxiang Pavilion's People's Hall. I just came out of the Tongtian River. I don't know why I came here. Xiao Yang did not hide it. What? Human temple? The girl heard the words, her eyes were full of incredible expressions. The Funxiang Pavilion Cabinet has the 3 halls of heaven, earth and people, and being able to join any of the halls is enough to show that this person's talent and strength are not bad. My name is Yu Mao, and I am the steward of the Funxiang Pavilion Cabinet. The girl heard the words, and immediately lowered her tone of voice and said slowly, since they are in the cabinet, that would be great. Dare to ask how to get back here? Xiao Yang asked directly. This is the place where Whose Han is responsible for purchasing food. If you want to go back, just walk directly from here and you can go back. Yu Mu said. Thank you. Xiao Yang said thank you, and immediately left the place with a heavy ruler on his back. What a weirdo. However, this person's strength is really terrifying. I'm afraid he is stronger than senior sister Lingxian. After Yu Mu finished speaking, he immediately went in the opposite direction of Xiao Yang. The difference between the two, but I don't know that in the future, a painstaking moment of life and death will be born by mistake. Boom boom boom. Just as Xiao Yang and Yu Mao were talking, both Xiong Yuan and Mu Shuzi felt the violent vibration in our Tongtian River. It looks like this guy is coming out. Mu Shuzi felt relieved when he saw this, and then said, 2 months, 60 days. This guy has refreshed the new history of our burning incense pavilion. I'm afraid many people will trouble him when he comes out this time. Xiong Yuan smiled maliciously. Hihi, good jade is more polished. Mu Shuzi disagreed. After all, when Xiao Yang entered the 9th level cultivation cave, his strength had already reached the late stage of the 6-star Do Emperor. After 2 months in the 9th level cultivation cave, his improvement was definitely not necessary. Doubt. In this way, among the people in the entire burning incense pavilion, there are probably only a handful of people who can be dangerous to Xiao Yang. Let's go and see your precious disciple. After Xiong Yuan finished speaking, he got up and walked towards the entrance of Tongtian River. And 1T, I and 1Ti. What's the matter? Xiong Yuan and Mu Shuzi were very fast, and within a few breaths, they arrived outside the stone room of Tongtian River, but it was already surrounded by water. 2 deputy hall masters, you can be considered here. You juniors are here waiting for Xiao Yang to leave the customs. What are you talking about to witness the disciples of the Hall of Humanity who broke the history of burning incense pavilion? But there is clearly no Xiao Yang's breath in the Tongtian River. These disciples are just here to stay. The 2 guards were also miserable. Didn't come out. Xiong Yuan suddenly wondered when he heard the words. Did something go wrong? Mu Shuzi said with a calm face. No, there has never been a mistake in Tongtian River. The guard continued. I can feel that this kid's breath is still in the incense pavilion, but it's not here anymore. And 1T, I and 1Ti. The direction of the breath is a bit like the back mountain. Mu Shuzi looked at the distance and said. In that direction. That girl Qinshin is very arrogant, this Xiao Yang can't get into her eyes. Xiong Yuan shook his head. Hihi, I don't think so. Although the power behind Qinshin is not small, Xiao Yang now has unlimited potential. Mu Shuzi laughed. Let's go back first, in the past Wuzhuju at night. Mu Shuzi finished speaking and disappeared with Xiong Yuan. When the other disciples heard the words, they immediately stopped besieging them here. What? This aura seems to be familiar. Xiao Yang slowly returned from the back mountain. Many disciples he met along the way were from the Earth Palace, but these Earth Palace disciples saw Xiao Yang as if they were looking at monsters. This made Xiao Yang quite puzzled. However, if Xiao Yang knew that he had broken the record since the establishment of the Funxiang Pavilion, it would be another scene. Xiao Yang. A soft hum came slowly from Xiao Yi's right hand. Qinshin. Xiao Yang heard the words and immediately turned his head away, only to realize that the familiar aura was actually Qinshin. This Qinshin made Xiao Yang feel incredible both in appearance and strength. In Luoling Mountain before, Xiao Yang felt that Qinshin seemed to have reservations, and Xiao Yang knew that if he could be accepted as a disciple by the young and old, if there were no means, he would definitely not believe it. Is something wrong with me? Xiao Yang replied softly, after all, it's better to keep a little distance from this Qinshin. Well, it's a bit of a personal matter. I don't know if it's convenient for you now. Qinshin looked around, and after seeing no one, she whispered. But I was shocked. Before this, Xiao Yang's strength was only in the late stage of the 6-star Do Emperor, but now it has skyrocketed to the level of the 6-star Do Emperor consummation, and there must be a reason why Xiao Yang can persist in the 9th level cultivation cave for up to 2 months. I just came out of Tongtian River. I'm fine for the time being. Tell me. Xiao Yang did not hesitate. Are you an alchemist? I want to ask you to refine a medicinal pill. Qin Xin smiled slightly. This video will end here.